Hi everyone, my name's Drew. I'm a cognitive behavioural therapist with Sheffield Talking Therapies, and this is a session for anybody who's been affected by the events of the 28th of October and what happened at the arena. And I hope that you're doing okay. I know from talking to people online this week and from feedback I've had from people who know people were there, that lots of people are still struggling, although some people are starting to feel better now. Some people are still struggling, and the prospect of going back to the game on Sunday when we play Coventry Blaze is potentially going to feel really challenging. So this presentation's for you if you're feeling anxious, a bit nervous, apprehensive about going back. But if you're not, maybe it's also for you, because watching this might just help you to understand how other people might be feeling at the game and how you might be able to support them. So I hope it's going to be a helpful little bit of information for you. So just wanted to start with these quotes. Really, I've had conversations with people on Facebook this week about how they're getting on, and here's one: I'm really struggling, but have tickets for Sunday. I think it'll be the right thing for me to do, but I'm pretty scared, to be honest. I'm sure that's something that a lot of people are feeling about the prospect of going back to the arena. And how can people manage the flood of emotions they might experience? What can people do to stay calm and enjoy the game that they love? So another really good question, and I hope that we'll answer that in a very simple way in this little presentation. So the aims of this session are to understand, first of all, why it can be so helpful to go back. That actually it's not a dangerous thing to go back that's going to cause lots of flashbacks and nightmares for us in the long run. Actually, it's a really helpful thing. So we're going to understand that. We're going to understand how the mind and the body might react when we go back, so you know what to expect, and also give you some useful tools to take care of yourself. And we introduced these in the session last week, and I hope that if you're watching this, you've already watched the video that's further up on this page that we've put together, and have seen some of the ideas there. I'm going to start by just refreshing your memory of a couple of things about this. And if you haven't watched that video, you might want to go and watch that video first, because it will really help you to hopefully feel reassured about what's happening. So what happens when we experience a traumatic event, when we witness something traumatic happening, is our mind and our body go into the fight or flight response. We respond as if we're in danger. That happens even when the danger's happening to someone else. So we get all these changes in the body. And when that happens, we go into this threat mode. The brain's fear center takes over, and the brain's librarian can't work so well. So that little amber coloured part of the brain is called the amygdala, and that's the fear center of the brain. And that takes over and says, don't do anything else, just get yourself safe. So the librarian stops filing memories away, and they get thrown all over the place. And our memories end up looking a bit like this. So the messy towel cupboard on the left, where everything's kind of screwed up and just thrown in haphazard. Very different than how our memories are under normal conditions, where everything gets a nice, neat time and date stamp on it and gets put into the cupboard in a nice, orderly way. And those memories might have been coming back this week. And that might be why you're anxious about going to the game, because you're still kind of reliving that experience, some of you, and that generates anxiety, and we don't like to be anxious. So maybe we're thinking, I'm not sure about going to the game, it's going to be too much. So this is what's happening when we have those flashbacks. We've got memories coming back, like towels falling out of the messy cupboard. But actually what's happening is the mind is trying to sort itself out. Doesn't like being in this messy state and wants to get into a nice, neat, orderly fashion and feel safe again. So that's what's happening. Now, going to the match is actually a big step forwards in sorting the cupboard out, because what it does is when we get to the arena, we can start to see that things are different. So we've been living with a memory of how things were last time we were there, but when we go this time, it's going to be a bit different. It won't look the same. The same things won't be happening as the last time we were there. So we can start to separate out between then and now. Then it's over and it's finished and it's past and it's not happening now. And now, when we're there, we'll notice that things are a bit different. So going back stops us from getting stuck with difficult memories. So instead of replaying and replaying that event over and over again as if it's still happening now, it helps us to move on. So it helps us to see it's over now and that things are safe again. And the mind and the body can learn to feel safe and calm down again by that process of going and being in this place. It just takes a little bit of time for us to move from that anxious state in the mind and the body into that calm state, peaceful state. So this is a graph that shows you how anxiety tends to go. So we work with a lot of people who have had traumatic experiences, and most times people need to go back and visit the place where something traumatic happened in order to get back to normal. And what tends to happen is that people's anxiety goes right up when we first go back. But if we stay long enough, the mind and the body calm down naturally. And actually staying in the situation for a period of time helps that process. We might have a temptation to go, and if we feel really uncomfortable, really distressed, then we'll leave. But that means we never get used to being back there again. We never get the learning of being in that situation. So if we can stay and give it time, we'll start to feel better very naturally. Actually, the body can't really sustain its anxiety response for a huge amount of time. It's a short-term thing, and it starts to get tired after a bit. And usually we say anywhere around about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, to absolute tops about 90 minutes. And you will, if you stay in a situation that makes you feel anxious, your body, your mind will start to calm down. It's just a really natural thing. It's built into our biology. So the first message is, if you stay, you will start to feel better. So when we go to the arena on Sunday, if you're going on Sunday, or if you're watching this video later, the time that you've chosen to go, we might experience something like this. So when we arrive at the building and we're in and around the concourse and the bar areas, that kind of thing, we might get a spike of anxiety then. Just arriving and being at the building makes us feel like we did last time we were here. But it will start to calm down if we stay there long enough. Going into the arena and seeing the ice, that's probably going to trigger a little bit more difficulty, because that's associated with what we saw last time we were here. So we might get a spike of anxiety there. And when the players come out and the match starts, well, that's probably going to give us another spike of anxiety again, because that's when the difficult things happened last time. So maybe what you want to do is arrive early if you can, because it's going to help you to go through this process of getting used to being in that environment again and letting your mind and your body calm down a bit. And if you're really struggling and you're finding it quite a frightening prospect to even go anywhere near the arena, well, maybe you can try these things out at home first as a way of testing this out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Try this and see if it isn't true that when you put yourself into a situation or expose yourself to something that makes you feel anxious, after a short period of time, no more than about 90 minutes, you're going to get a reduction in anxiety. So think we suggested last week you might try putting on your hockey shirt. If that was a trigger to feel uncomfortable, to feel anxious, well, it works. Put it on, wear it around the house until you feel comfortable. By looking at hockey photos and then watching hockey videos. I know I've read online this week comments about people getting really triggered by watching hockey videos, feeling really uncomfortable. If you make yourself sit down and watch a hockey video, it's going to help you to get used to the sights and sounds that you're going to witness when you're back in the arena on Sunday, back at the game. So taking the time, staying with it, and I've written there on the right hand side, stay with it until the anxiety goes down by about 50%. So say your anxiety starts at 9 out of 10. If you get really anxious, everybody's going to be different. Some people are going to be coming to this feeling quite laid back and okay, but some people will feel really highly anxious. So say your anxiety was at 90%, stay with that situation until your anxiety's dropped to about 45%. If you let your anxiety drop like that, your mind and your body learn that actually this is safe, this isn't a dangerous place to be. I hope that idea is helpful. Now, let's come to the second question. How can people manage the flood of emotions that they might experience? What can people do to stay calm and enjoy the game that they love? So, well, it's a good thing to let yourself be exposed to difficult emotions, especially anxiety, as we just talked about. Actually, there's some really simple tips here that can help you to manage so you don't feel completely overwhelmed by things. So if that's a fear that you've got, let's have a look what we can do with that. So, number one, accept that our emotions are part of being human. So we're an animal and we have emotions built into us and we can't really avoid them. We're going to feel a bit stressed, a bit anxious going to the game. And we're also going to feel sadness, probably, particularly if you come into the game on Sunday and we're probably going to commemorate Adam Johnson's life before the game starts. There's going to be a lot of emotion around, and that's okay. Emotions aren't a bad thing that we have to avoid. They're part of being human. They've all got some kind of purpose. And the sadness that's been around and the anxiety that's been around has kind of bonded people together. I'm sure you're all aware of kind of all the stuff flying around on social media that people have been supporting each other very, very much. It's brought a community together. So maybe the emotion that we might feel together in the arena is part of that process. So emotions, even strong ones, aren't dangerous things. They've got a function, and maybe it's okay to just let them come and go, and they will come and they will go when we're at the match. And number two, relaxed breathing exercises. So we introduced these in the first video last week. When you breathe deeply and slowly, deliberately, changing your breath to that deep breathing, sends a message to your brain and your body that you don't need to be in this highly aroused, anxious state. So practicing that as a skill before you go and then using it when you're in the arena is one way of just putting the lid on, just bringing it down, soothing your mind and your body a bit, making yourself feel a bit better. So there's a recording for that. And I'm going to point down there because it should be down there on the website by the time you're watching this. So you can just go below when you finish watching the video, click on the link and listen to relaxed breathing exercise and practice that a few times. Also below, you're going to find an exercise called 5 senses grounding. Now, this is really, really helpful if you're troubled by memory. So if you're sitting in the arena and some memories are coming up for you and you feel overwhelmed by what you're thinking about, well, coming back to the here and now, what's going on for you right now, what you can hear, see, taste, smell, touch right in front of you, that helps you to know that we're here and now and not 2 weeks ago. So try out the grounding exercise that you can find below this video. Again, press play, listen to it, practice it, and then that's a second tool or skill that you've got that you can use when you're at the game, if you need it. Lastly, playing the then and now game, or spot the difference. So our mind will tell us lots of stuff about what happened last time we were here. But if we can notice that that's what we're doing, if we can notice that the reason we're getting so upset is because we're thinking about stuff, and realize that it's actually not happening right now, that it's actually over, it's finished, it's in the past, and pay real attention to what we can see in front of us right now. The arena's going to look different. The crowd are going to sound different. Everything's going to be different this time around than it was 2 weeks ago. So if you can spot the difference between then and now, then that's going to be a really helpful way to soothe yourself, to take yourself out of your head and back into here and now. And so we've got a set of tools there to take care of yourself. So accept emotions. It's okay, they're not dangerous, they'll pass. Slow, deep breathing, 5 senses grounding, and spot the difference, noticing the difference between then in your head and now, and really paying attention to what's in front of you right now with your 5 senses. So I hope that's really helpful. And the last thing that we want to let you know is that support is there if you need it. So ourselves, Sheffield Talking Therapies, and Ardash, Rotherham, Doncaster and Southampton, Humber Talking Therapies, hopefully some other services as well, will have lots of mental health professionals available. We're going to be quietly in one corner on the blue concourse where you can come and find us if you need us. So you can get on with experiencing the game, having your game day experience and being in the arena exactly as normal. But if you want to talk, we're there. Come and find us on the blue concourse. So we've got an area that's going to be a wellbeing lounge, a nice quiet space where you can come and spend a bit of time if you're just feeling that you need to get away. There's going to be professionals to talk with if you want some support. And there'll also be lots of information, flyers and leaflets about our services should you need them. We hope that most people, if you're at the game on Sunday, you're taking a really big step towards recovering from this, and it's going to help to sort out that towel cupboard, help to sort out your memories, and hopefully start to reduce the distress that you might be feeling. It's a really great thing to do. But if you find that you need support a few weeks down the line, well, you can get information about our services on the day by coming over to our stall. So enjoy the game, take really good care of yourselves, and we'll see you on Sunday.